So the first set of candidates that we'll be hearing from are our two nominees for state Supreme Court. Actually, I'm not sure about the technicalities of it. I know that we were supposed to have the convention, and we haven't, and there was a virtual vote, but I actually never saw the results of the virtual vote. But I'm sure you guys were both
Good. Endorsed.
Yep, great. And I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to speak to Justice McCormack and Elizabeth Welch for Royal Oak Dems Forum back in, I don't know, feels like 10 years ago at the start of quarantine. So I believe we're going to go in alphabetical order on this one, and we're just going to hear from our state Supreme Court candidates. I want to emphasize, I know that I'm trying to move through this as quickly as possible, and I think that most people in the chat will understand and recognize this, but even though the state Supreme Court, it's technically, they're nominated by the parties, but it's technically kind of a nonpartisan thing. It's on the back of the ballot. It's not voted if you vote straight line Democratic, your vote does not go towards state Supreme Court candidates. So that means it's really crucial that we deliberately and purposefully vote for our state Supreme Court nominees. So we have 5 minutes from Justice McCormack first.
Okay, 5 minutes, gotcha. It's a good thing I speak really quickly. Thank you very much for having us. Thank you for already focusing some attention on the state Supreme Court race. It is a tremendous opportunity for us this year. In addition to my re-election, Elizabeth is a fantastic candidate for the open seat, and I try and start my remarks and finish my remarks by telling everybody that if I win and she doesn't, I will not be happy on election night. I want to see us both win. We have a tremendous opportunity this cycle. I spent a career as a lawyer and then as a law professor working on issues around access to justice, and with the help of you all in 2012 was elected to an open seat the way Elizabeth is running for an open seat right now. Just as Vaughn said, the only way we win this is with your help. Unlike the other races where you know exactly which candidates reflect your values, here you have to have done your homework or have had people make sure they have worked on our behalf. So we understand how important it is that we have your help. We're grateful that you're already, first of all of you are here ready to focus on the race. Obviously, you know the court makes really important decisions and has the last word in those decisions. 95% of criminal cases and civil cases are decided in your state courts. Since I've been on the Supreme Court now 8 years, only one has gone to the US Supreme Court. We are making incredibly important decisions and we have an opportunity to pick up a seat. It's very, very important. Did I say that? Elizabeth really needs to get elected. And I also want you to know that in addition to the decision-making function, the administrative function is critical. We have by constitution, we're charged with administering the courts of the state. That means we provide the support, direction, and rules by which all of the courts of the state, and there are 242 trial courts in Michigan that hear 4 million cases a year, the way they proceed. And just a couple of examples of the work I've been doing on that administrative agenda. The Lieutenant Governor and I have chaired the Governor's Task Force on Jail and Pretrial Reform, which was a statewide task force to collect data to figure out why our jail populations have tripled in the last 30 years when crime is at a 50-year low. We made 18 innovative, robust recommendations that could make Michigan a national leader in jail and pretrial reform if we push them across the finish line, which we are in the process of doing right now. My Justice for All task force is focused on the 8 of 10 people in Michigan who can't afford lawyers for civil legal problems and how that undermines the rule of law and what we can do about it. We have an ambitious goal of achieving 100% access in 3 years. I'll tell you how I could achieve it if Elizabeth Welch is elected. And finally, moving our courts online, making them more efficient, more customer friendly, more transparent, and more accessible is something that the pandemic has actually gifted me an opportunity to do in enormous ways that would have been harder before, and we're taking advantage of it. By the end of this month, we will be the first state in the country to have online dispute resolution statewide. We are the only state in the country that has judges in every single county streaming live proceedings on YouTube now. And there's lots more to say about all of that, but I'm mindful of my time. I thank you again for having me tonight, and I'm happy, if I don't remember what the rules are, happy to answer any questions if that's allowed.
I don't think we're doing questions for state Supreme Court candidates, But I would encourage people. I know we had the Royal Oak Dems event where we had a couple of questions. Not sure if that was recorded, but it occurs to me now we should do another round of events with both the two of you and OCDP and get that up on our YouTube page. So maybe I can pitch that to you guys while I have you locked in on these screens right now.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth, I think you have also some time to address everybody, and I want to make sure that we give you full time.
All right. Should I go?
Yes.
All right. I'm off. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Thank you for holding this meeting and for so many of you being on. Many of you know I spent actually a lot of time over in Oakland County before the shutdown. Was putting 1,200 miles a week on my car between really mid-December to mid-March, and then everything came to a screeching halt. Just real quick, my background, I do employment law. I've practiced employment law for 25 years with a smattering of criminal law and some abuse and neglect in the juvenile system mixed in there, and also I'm a trained mediator. So I had the opportunity about 1.5 years ago to speak to the Chief Justice about this really unique opportunity because it is an open seat, as she said. My website has a lot of my background and I have such a short time, but I want to quick just talk about this race at this moment and sort of why it's so important. Open seats don't come open very often. The Chief Justice has to run again, obviously. She's an incumbent. She will have that incumbency designation on the ballot. It's a big advantage. She's also been a rock star, so that's an advantage. So of course, she needs to get reelected. I am really hoping I can get pulled along with her because this open seat, if you're someone who does pay attention, also is the swing seat between Democratically nominated justices and Republican nominated justices. And so right now there are 4 Republican nominated justices and 3 Democratically nominated justices, Justice McCormack, Kavanaugh, and Bernstein. And then you have Republican nominated justices. It's a very high functioning court right now. I'll be really honest. A lot of that is because of the Chief Justice's great work. So that's good news. It hasn't always been that way. But there's a real opportunity. There are lots of decisions that are 4-3 and 3-4. That, obviously who sits in those seats does matter. And I do believe our background and our experience we bring to the table as judges matters. And I feel like my experience, I have a really different resume as far as experience. I spent a lot of time in the public school policy space, advocating really hard for public education and equity and funding and different issues that impact kids all over the state. I kind of was a PTO mom who fell into that space and then found myself using my law degree and getting invited into forums all over the state and then training people on how to be advocates for their schools across partisan boundaries and building really good solid relationships with folks of all political persuasions to advocate for our schools. I additionally did a lot of work in the voter protection space, overseeing voter protection in West Michigan in 2016 and 2018, culminating with almost 200 people out at the polls. In 16 and 18, we had about that many. And really probably just as importantly, building relationships with our local clerks and making sure they understood the new laws, particularly after Proposal 3. There were a lot of big changes. We wanted to work collaboratively with them, not be an adversary. So that actually works pretty well. And we have a great program in West Michigan that we've transitioned. And then finally, I've spent a lot of time and space in the conservation world where I was I'm a past board president of the Michigan League of Conservation Voters, and really proud of that work as well. This particular seat, there's a unique opportunity, and it's one of the reasons I was super motivated to step forward was because of the Chief Justice's work on that really important administrative function she was talking about, that system work. It's hard work. It's patient, long work. It's actually work, though, that I do believe the court is extremely well positioned to take on. Justices serve 8-year terms. Nobody else in the state does that. And they often serve 2 terms. And so it's a real great, unique opportunity. I am privileged to have received the MDP's endorsement on May 26th. We did get that one. And we still have to formally get nominated at the end of August, but just to add urgency to how important it was that we got that early endorsement, absentee ballots come out September 23rd. So if we get the nomination, say late August, it could be literally 3 weeks later that ballots land on in people's mailboxes. You all are going to be key. So I thank you for your time. I know we both have websites that I'm sure our staff will put up in your chat, but please check us out. Please sign up for both of us for information to stay in touch. Yard signs, everything. We're going to have it all soon. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you, Justice McCormack. I really want to emphasize to everybody that this is a crucial election. When we're talking about voting up and down the ticket, for whatever reason, the state Supreme Court races are far down the ticket. They're on the back, and it really is crucial that we do the work to get out there and let people know how important it is to vote for our state Supreme Court candidates. Even though, again, if you vote straight ticket Democratic, that does not get you voting for the Supreme Court, the democratically nominated Supreme Court justices.